Hello folks, Happy New Year. So welcome to our review of One Piece chapter 1071, the first chapter of 2023 officially. This chapter kind of opened up the door to a lot of possibilities for Oda's statement about this character clashing with this character clashing. I hope nobody dies, which I'll get into by the end because this, like I said, it opens up the door. We got a colour spread with the Straw Hats to open up the 2023, which is awesome. Obviously, Robin and Nami looking awesome. The Straw Hats looking beast. I find it very ironic. The very first sequence of this chapter was about Kuma arriving at Redport, the baseline of the Red Line, which is the island that's directly underneath Marajose. It's pretty much set in stone that Kuma was going to show up on Egghead Island to help out Bonnie, if nothing else, because we know the connection now. We still need to get a little bit more to that. So I feel like that's why by the end of this chapter, Bonnie is with Vegapunk going elsewhere, separate from the Straw Hats, which is not going to last long. I will give Oda credit because it's kind of like, it throws you off a little bit because it's like, okay, wait a minute. We thought he was going to Egghead Island because now he doesn't have a sense of where he's going. The thing is, we literally just got Kuma away from Marajose, and it's even stated in the sequence, like, it's baffling Kuma, where did he come from? I heard he fled from the Holy Land. Yeah. So I find it very hard to believe that Kuma's going to stay there. Plus, the fact that they'll call for Marines when in the previous chapter, we literally got Kizaru calling for a fleet of warships to head to his destination so they can attack the Straw Hats when they try to escape. I don't suspect this is going to go on for much longer, just like I said, because the revolutionaries, all that effort just to get Kuma away, just for him to return. No, we know he can walk, so it's not too much of a problem, but I will give Oda credit for trying to shake things up and make things unpredictable, which is something we're going to have to expect when it comes to 2023. And the fact that Kuma's able to stand after crashing into a wall anyway is like kind of like give you flare signals right there. Okay, there's a lot more to Kuma than just, oh, he doesn't have much energy. Then we switch to Egghead Island, where literally we have the Vegapunk 6 about to like storm out and actually attack CP0, which is pretty awesome. I like Lil's response because she's like, yeah, finally we get to avenge Atlas here, which I'm sure Frankie's already taken care of. Repairs and then Vegapunk is like hesitant. Well, he's hesitant at first, but then he actually calls up for some backup. It kind of goes in theme with his like 6 Vegapunk clones to match his personality. So Vegapunk's like, "Yo, Straw Hats, can you take us 7 with you?" So that'd be awesome. But I feel like it's kind of our matching Cypher Hole. Bonnie's headed outside, and by the end of this chapter, like I said, she's with Vegapunk. It's Luffy and Chopper that's trying to stop her. But Luffy, by the end of this chapter, actually reunites with the rest of Straw Hats alongside Chopper. Again, like I said, it's not going to last long. But Bonnie's just on hold about getting her dad back to normal. Which is why I also think Kuma is going to teleport pretty soon. But they let all down these security systems so the CP0 could get in. So they can, like, they buy some time so they can get them away from the ships. Because they know they're going to attack the Straw Hat ship immediately, the Sunny, the moment they get the chance. They're trying to like let them in. Well, first Kaku's like, "Yo, we should go. This is our golden opportunity." Rob Lucci's like, "No, this is a trap, so we should proceed with caution here." Stussy, we get a panel, but she doesn't say anything, which I think is very, very telling. And obviously, from the previous cover page that we got, there's a girl scientist that we saw from the back. We did see a face that kind of resembles Stussy's hairstyle. So there may be a relationship, some connection there. We don't know. Though she has some affiliation with Egghead Island because she's clearly been here before, but we don't know why. So maybe that will play a role soon because all 3 of them jump up and first off they spot a robot and then they spot the Sunny. Kaku tries to attack it, which I find is ironic considering wasn't it Kaku that actually tried to attack the Going Merry back in the day? But it doesn't matter because he gets blocked by Zoro, who casually just wakes up. So I don't know if he used observation haki and just sensed someone was attacking, because he just wakes up and the next thing is like, boom, blocks the attack, casually, I might add. Then Kaku's like, Roanoa. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Does Kaku not have observation hockey now either? Because if he does, he should have been able to sense that Zoro was there. And not only that, we know Brook was with Zoro at that point. Shaka is like realizing, oh, they'll target the Straw Hat ships now that they're there. We're too late. They're realizing that a crew member's already fighting. So we get a panel with Zoro and Kaku clashing. So I love our last chapter. We ended one rematch. And in this chapter, to open up 2023, we get another rematch from Enies Lobby. In this case, it's Zoro versus Kaku. Again, I'll state this again. There's a possibility of this happening. But my question is, what is Kaku going to do to Zoro here? Literally, we just come off Luffy against Lucci. We saw him patched up, and that's all we saw. So what's gonna be any different with Kaku versus Zoro? I appreciate Oda giving us a callback, but ultimately, the only interesting thing is that Lucci and Stussy could interfere, but we know Brook's there somewhere. So I'm assuming he's gonna get involved too, because they may end up trying to attack the Sunny, and Brook could put a stop to that. That would be actually pretty cool. And not on top of that, we know the Straw Hats and the Vegapunk 6, along with Barney, are on their way out. So that's not too much of a problem either. But we do get Luffy, and I think it's interesting that Oda focuses on Nami, saying, hey, Luffy, you're back. And you got Sanji in the background. I don't know if you want to make any meaning behind that, but once we get the reunion, it's like, Luffy's been told, like, we're leaving already because we just got... And Luffy's like, yo, we just got here. Can't we explore a little bit more? And it's like, I want to explore too, but this is a government island, so we need to get the hell out of here. But Nami's like, you already bumped into that Rob Lucci guy. And then Luffy responds, I know, but wait. You haven't seen Bonnie. She's a pirate lady with long hair. The last we saw, Bonnie was being chased by Luffy and Chopper to prevent her from actually attacking Vegapunk. So obviously she didn't kill him, because that's what we see next. But Robin also mentions that, hey, Vegapunk isn't here either. So I find it interesting at the beginning when Bonnie was like after Vegapunk, she got pissed off because of the bugs that knocked her out. So I think, but here she's like knocking Vegapunk up ahead. So she's like, oh, can you turn my dad back to normal or not? And Vegapunk answers like, no, I can't, but it's not that simple. But he's about to answer, and then it cuts away immediately. And again, it all started pointing to Vegapunk and Bonnie bumping into CP0. It cuts, and talk about random. So as we go into somewhere in the waters of the New World, we see Kid's ship, and we see a big ass fish. Killer is waking Kid up, so hey Kid, wake up, we're near land. We should go look around. This island is probably home of the giant Elbaf. Like I said, random as hell, but Kid have made their way to Elbaf. They found Elbaf, which I'll get back into that in a minute. So that opens up another possibility, which I'll get into. Then it goes back to the G14 naval base. I should say part of Sword's base, because they're in contact with Garp, and apparently Garp is on his way to around Egghead Island already, because Doll is actually contacting them. Hey, so this isn't a joke. You want to launch an offensive against an emperor, but then as the conversation went on, it's kind of clear what's going on here. And Doll's asking Garp, have you cleared this up with the higher ups, with the top brass? And Garp doesn't give a shit about the higher ups, the Celestial Dragons anyway. So. Or the Gurase, I'm assuming, because he's like, no, I don't care about that. And he's like, don't worry about it, because I'm already here. So, and he's right outside the base, because he's like, hell, Mappo, get the hell on here. We're setting sail. I don't know if the other members of Sword are going to get on. And how about Garp? Because Garp by himself would be enough, but I feel like he's going to have to get some backup at least. Maybe Smoker will show up, too, because we haven't seen him either. And we know he's a part of this. We saw Tashigi. But he's like, yeah, we're setting sail. Get on, because we're going to save Captain Kobe, which is awesome, because this is leading to a Garp versus Teach showdown, potentially. So, and that's how the chapter ends. And like I said, Oda opens up 2023 with the first chapter, and we've already got a possibility of a Garp Teach fight, which a lot of people did speculate that, oh, it's definitely going to be Shanks versus Blackbeard in 2023. No, I said that's a possibility, but hold your horses first, though, because we don't know for sure. And what do you know? And I said that the chapter that followed his statement at Jump Festa was about Kizaru showing up with a fleet of warships. And I said in that review, I said, hold your horses because we don't know what Oda's got in store. It could be Shanks versus Teach, but we don't know. And what do you know? The first chapter of the new year, we get this possibility. Like I said, it opens up a door of infinite possibilities here. With Garp potentially going up against Blackbeard, because you want to launch an offensive against an Emperor. And he's already saying, like, let's head out to Full Island, which is where Blackbeard's base is. Now, the question I have is the same one I had when it comes to like people speculating maybe it's Shanks versus Teach that's going to happen this year. My question is not when is it going to happen, where is it going to happen? Because right now, the last we saw Teach, he was clashing with Law. So, and we know he's not on his base yet unless he's captured Law. Is Law probably going to take the L against Teach? Probably. Is he going to die? It's a slim chance, but I do not see it happening off screen. Law's way too powerful of a character. So that could be going on right now for all we know. And I've said there's a possibility the Shanks could show up because obviously Law saved Luffy back in Marineford and Shanks was there, so he could return a favour. If Shanks were to clash with Teach, I could see that. But I also thought, I wish I brought this up, but I did mention it's interesting that Oda stated, I hope nobody dies. That right there should have told you, okay, maybe it's not Shanks versus Teach because Teach ain't dying and neither is Shanks because we don't know next to nothing about Shanks unless this fight actually introduces us to Shanks' flashback. But we don't know. We literally just got a movie about his daughter and Shanks by default, but it's non-canon anyway. Which I will get into Shanks in a minute because I think there's another possibility with this after this chapter. So Garp versus Teach would be awesome. But it's only because of what we know about Garp now that we didn't know pre-time skip. Pre-time skip, we didn't know the significance that Garp had when it comes to like the law of One Piece, when it comes to like actually teaming up with Roger to take down Rocksteady Sebek and the Rock Pirates. And it does make perfect sense historically speaking because Rocksteady Sebek, there's a lot of people speculating that Teach has a connection, if not being the son of Rocksteady Sebek, and Garp being one of the heroes that took Rocksteady Sebek down, makes perfect sense for Teach to go up against him and actually defeat Garp. Now, the interesting thing about this fight is the same thing with Shanks versus Teach, is Garp doesn't have a Devil Fruit ability. So that plays an interesting role in this because most opponents that Blackbeard faces has had Devil Fruits. Like us, we kind of got this teased back pre-time skip at Marineford when he teamed up against Sengoku to go up against Teach, and it kind of got cut short. Possibility of him getting a third Devil Fruit. Now, that has to play a role at some point. It's going to be interesting to see how that fight plays itself out, but going by what Oda is saying, I hope nobody dies. Anything involving Teach up until the final arc, we know Teach is not dying. He's not getting taken down unless it's by Luffy. Like I said, it's not set in stone. There could be another possibility. We don't know. I mean, we're really in uncharted territory when it comes to like 2023 because we're literally in the final saga, so it could be anything at this point. So that's one possibility opened up from this chapter. Another is the fact that Kid is the first to actually show up and arrive at Elbaf. I didn't expect that. And I felt it was interesting that Oda decided to show this now. But I'm like, okay, is somebody on Elbaf that's going to actually take on Kid? And the only thing that comes to mind right now is Shanks being on Elbaf. And Kid already being butthurt at the fact that he lost an arm fighting Shanks previously. Kid thinking he's hot shit now after helping out, teaming up with Law, taking down Big Mom. You don't think with a $3 billion bounty, you don't think he's going to try and challenge Shanks again and get his ass beat? So I thought it was interesting that Oda decided to show this now rather than until the end of the arc. Which is why I say we're in uncharted territory, because Oda usually says this for the end of the arc when we get the world building stuff. We're getting it full here. We're getting exposed here before the end of the arc. We don't know how long this arc is going to go on for much longer. Like I said, we ended one rematch in the previous chapter go into another one with Kaku versus Zoro, but that's not going to last long either. It can't. Very interesting to see what happens with that. How long it's going to be before we see Kid on Elbaf, because that kind of threw me off a little bit, because I thought the Straws would be the first to get there, but it would make sense if Shanks was already there, because he's already making his move. We haven't seen him since he left. He departed and took care of Green Ball. This, like I said, this chapter opens up a lot of possibilities. Obviously, now we could add like Garp versus Teach to that list, like possibly happening this year. I say possibly because we still don't know. Like I said, we're building up to that final clash between. It looks like I would like the Vegapunk to actually fight for their own freedom, honestly. But it looks like the Straw Hats could get involved. We're seeing Kaku versus Zoro already, which ain't going to last much longer, like I said. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Now, the Bonnie is with Vegapunk, asking for a favor. Kuma at the start of the chapter, heading to Redport, but we know that's not going to last much longer. So how much longer is he going to be there? We know he can teleport, so that's not too much of a problem. So it's just a way of kind of like playing with our minds a little bit when it comes to Oda. But I'd still say we know where it's going to end up. But I will finish off with this, because I did say, after review of chapter 1066, when we got that chapter about Robin, and the possibility of Soul being on Elbaf, I immediately said that's going to be the next destination that Oda's going to get. We're going to go to when it comes to being the next major arc in the series, because all signs were pointing to that. And it's interesting that Kid in this chapter, in the first chapter of the new year, arrives on Elbaf. Now I don't know what he's going to do when he gets there. Like I said, there's a potential bump into Shanks again and clash with him. It's a possibility. We don't know, but there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be heading for Elbaf following this arc and point out, one of the Straw Hats is possibly going to get captured because there's an admiral coming. And I said, like, even if they are captured, how long are they going to be captured for, realistically? The only way I see that being the case is if the final road poneglyph is on Merijose. And a lot of people speculate that the final road poneglyph is on Elbaf. So now that opens up the door, that kind of shuts the door on the theory of somebody being captured from the Straw Hats, because there's the fact that Oda went out of his way to show us Kid going to Elbaf now, because that's just how I feel. Let me know what you guys think down below. I thought it was a great chapter to open up the new year with 2023. Like I said, it opens up the possibilities for so much to go down. It's uncharted territory. So that's going to do it for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like the review if you do it, thumbs up, and I appreciate that. Subscribe to for more One Piece. I appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you so much for supporting me in 2022. Hopefully that continues in 2023 to even a bigger year for One Piece. Thanks guys. Bye.